Migration away from workspaces. A Terraform workspace selects one state snapshot. The root module stays the same. Shared code applies the same resource graph to every workspace. A workspace name can change names, tags, and paths. That convenience hides the environment boundary inside runtime selection. Migration makes the boundary visible in files and backend keys. A migration starts by replacing implicit workspace values. The environment becomes an explicit variable. Explicit input makes plans repeatable outside workspace selection. The same value can move into each environment directory. Terraform no longer depends on the selected CLI workspace. A directory gives each environment its own root module. Each root passes a fixed environment value. The shared module still holds common resource logic. The caller decides which environment receives changes. Review tools can compare paths before Terraform runs. A backend key names the remote state object. Workspace migration replaces workspace selection with separate keys. Each environment points at one predictable state location. State isolation becomes visible in backend configuration. Accidental workspace selection no longer changes the target state. The AWS object already exists before migration. The new root has an empty state file. An import block binds that object to the new address. Terraform then manages the object without recreating it. The resource block must match the imported object. On a submarine, changing watch stations never changes ship control. The handoff proves which operator owns which system. Terraform migration needs the same proof. Unproven ownership creates duplicate control paths under pressure. Terraform state maps resource addresses to real objects. Refactoring changes addresses before objects change. A mood block records the intended address change. Terraform updates the binding instead of replacing infrastructure. The plan becomes evidence of safe refactoring. Workspace branching keeps environment logic inside shared code. Migration removes runtime conditionals from the module. The caller passes fixed values from each environment root. The module stops guessing deployment intent. Environment differences become reviewable configuration changes. A migration fails if old workflows keep selecting workspaces. CI must run from the environment directory. The default workspace becomes the only valid workspace. Backend keys define separation after migration. Automation removes operator memory from environment targeting. The old workspace state must stop managing migrated objects. Duplicate state ownership creates conflicting Terraform plans. The new environment root becomes the only owner. Plans must show no recreate action for migrated resources. The migration is complete when ownership is singular.